Everyone is talking about Meta Connect 2024. People are saying Zuckerberg is the cool, hip Steve Jobs. Meta is shocking the world with their devices. And again, these are not just these are not devices that are someday we might create this. These are working prototypes that they're having their employees use. I mean, Jaeden, I don't know if you watched this with the same slack-jawed look as me, but their glasses are amazing. Their AI, they're dropping new Llama stuff, and it's not even making the news. What are you most excited about? Because if people aren't seeing this, they need to sort of like start understanding what Meta's up to.
Oh yeah, no, this is absolutely insane. There's so many things were announced at this MetaConnect 2024 event. The glasses were like a big headline. There was some really big announcements around the usage of Llama and how many people are actually using Meta AI. So Zuckerberg said that they have 500 million users right now of Meta AI, which, I mean, it makes sense because they have so many users. I think like a billion users or multiple billion users on their platforms. And so when they stick it right on Facebook, WhatsApp, and Messenger, I know a ton of people that use this, especially because it's like a free ChatGPT built into an app that a lot of people are using all the time. It's a messaging app with messaging built into it. So it just makes sense. But I was blown away. I mean, I don't know if you remember when OpenAI announced, I think their most recent announcement was that they had 200 million monthly active users. So Meta just said total users. I'm not sure monthly active. I got to imagine it's pretty big, but like, come on, we're literally at like, just because of the sheer distribution, like they're already getting potentially beating out OpenAI on usage of this model, which is also free. So that makes a big impact. But I'm just blown away by Meta AI and how much they've been able to increase usage. They released some new models for Llama that came out, so this thing's getting better and better. Really impressive stuff out of Meta this week for sure.
Yeah, the number, I'm skeptical about that number because the 500 million, what I'd heard a while back, I don't know if you and I talked about it or not, was that there's some people that were just getting like frustrated by the AI. Like they just want to search their WhatsApp messages and it's like, Meta AI popping up and be like, how can I help you? It's like, just, when did Joey write to me kind of thing, So I think that people are like stumbling into this and using it without realizing that they're like using it. But just understanding that Meta AI, that would be one thing if Meta AI, or Llama was a terrible product, but Llama is a phenomenal product. And they're shrinking it essentially sort of so that you can put this on local devices. I don't think they're really doing much with their foundation model. So just folks out there, like the foundation models are like the big, like ChatGPT, and it's like Claude from Anthropic, and it's Google's Gemini, and it is Llama. And the thing about the foundation model is like that's the big flagship kind of thing. But really importantly, and a lot of us out there don't need to use these things, but just understand how critical these are to the world. The smaller models are really critical because then they can start fitting locally on your devices, and then you don't have to worry about privacy and everything else. That's the importance of these smaller models and why they are so critical. But this Connect thing was wild, not only because they're doing so much in AI, which we sort of know, not only because they're owning open source, which is really very cool, I think, but also the device stuff. That's the wild stuff to me, right? So like they showed the upgraded Meta Ray-Bans, which are super cool. There's just, they can do more stuff and everything, but also they now I think they're transparent or something. So people look at you wearing these little Terminator glasses, which I think is super cool. But also these Orion glasses, as you said, they look like chunky Ray-Bans, chunky sunglasses, excuse me, but they're definitely not, those, colossal Apple, Vision Pro, $4,000, bending your neck back and all that kind of stuff. These are actual glasses. And one of the really cool things, Jaeden, is not just that they're getting into the device area, but in different ways. So the coolest thing that I saw, which isn't getting talked about that much, is the wristband, where you can just sort of move your hands a little bit, or like rub, your thumb against your finger. And that is connected to your wristband. There's sort of like a neural link there. And that's how you move things around and everything. So instead of, in terms of user interface, instead of talking aloud or making these grand gestures with your hands, you can just do these little things. Whole point here is that I'm not looking to take Apple's crown here, but I am saying that Meta, in the world that they're in right now, in devices, they are looking really good, and it is actually looking like the future to me.
Oh, 100%. I think, there's a lot of things that people have been saying about them. One, though, is that Zuckerberg right now is drinking Snapchat's tears because, as everyone knows, for like almost 10 years now, Snapchat has been working on their Snapchat Spectacles. And just the week before Meta came out with all these big updates, Snapchat came out with their latest update to the Snapchat Spectacles. Now, the problem, if anyone goes and looks at the Snapchat Spectacles now, they look absolutely goofy. They're just really big and bulky, like whatever. So they definitely, Meta comes out and completely beats them on the form factor. But the worst part is the Snapchat Spectacles have a 30-minute battery life. I mean, I literally cannot believe this. They're like, yeah, but it's like a GoPro creators can put on. It's like, no, like 30 minutes. I think really that's going to have the same fate as like the Humane Pin. Humane Pin got a lot of bad press because it only had a 4-hour battery life. People want something that can last all day. Same thing. And so I think Meta really crushed it in a lot of ways. They were very clever in coming up with like a computational puck that you put in your pocket. And these things, like, I'm not going to lie, I think they absolutely crushed Apple on this because Apple has these huge goggles that they spend tons of money on. They look absolutely ridiculous. You never actually wear these out in public. Right. I mean, I think when I was in France, I saw someone like out in a public park with some on, like just playing some game or something, and it just looked so ridiculous. You never wear them, but as soon as you have these things that look like glasses, especially like the Meta Ray-Ban ones, look much like they just look like normal Ray-Bans, and so I think there's a lot of useful things. They obviously don't have all the AR alternate reality like tech in them, but this new version, you can imagine that these glasses are just going to get a thinner and thinner form factor, so they look like the Ray-Bans, they look like a normal pair of glasses, but you have AR glasses that I think have a shot at actually replacing like phone usage. You probably always have the phone in your pocket, but you might not reach for your phone if just on your glasses you can see your call, answer your messages, and do everything.
But Jaeden, that's what I mean about that that sort of like neural like wristband thing. Is that, one of the things that I have trouble with is, even though I always talk to ChatGPT, like I don't do it when I'm out in public and everything else. Like talking is tricky. People want to be texting, everything like that. And if this is something where they're going to figure this out about texting, that's amazing. Also, these things are just going to get smaller and smaller and smaller. Right now, the Meta glasses are kind of chunky. But here's the other thing: is that all my whatever generation I am, folks in our 40s who are being like, oh, those glasses are too chunky, and like my younger friends are like, what are you talking about? That's the style, like boomer or whatever, right? So like even that, they're sort of like hitting on. It's pretty stylish as well. And again, these are not like here's what's coming in the future, guys. Apple. Look, I'm never betting against Apple. I love Apple. I have all their products, all that kind of stuff. But I feel like we may be, I was talking to Paul Reitzer about this a little bit, who has marketing AI, big genius in the field. And he and I were kind of going back and forth a little bit like, okay, well, are you betting against Apple? I'm like, I'm not betting against Apple, but it is one of these things where, we gave Google the benefit of the doubt all of last year, saying like when Gemini comes out, it's all going to be a different ball game, all that kind of stuff. Now, look, as you and I both know, Google's now crushing 2024. But the benefit of the doubt thing, like, they bought themselves like 9 months. How long have we been saying like, oh, well, just wait for Apple? They have the iPhone 16, which I'm getting, all that kind of stuff. But even AI on that isn't coming out yet. Jaeden, what's happening with this thing?
Yeah, this is a rough moment for Apple. Yeah, I mean, I don't feel like it's good. I still have the iPhone. It still feels like a really good piece of technology, but it's kind of rough, man. It's kind of rough. Okay. The last thing I wanted to cover on all of this Meta news, Connor, I gotta show you this, is Meta's new AI facial thing. You can ask it to generate you as anything. It takes like 3 pictures of yourself. Now, there's been a bunch of tools that do this, and in fact, I have a friend that he has one called AI Viking, and I sent him the screenshot of this right after it came out, and I was like, "Look, man, like, is your company toast?" And he told me his company is indeed toast because you can generate yourself as a Viking, as in a church, as a pirate, as a politician.
And this is, just to understand for our audio audience here. So you went to Meta AI, is that right?
You if you're on your phone, you're going to go to like Messenger or WhatsApp or whatever, go chat with Meta AI. This is me as a sheep herder, in case you're wondering. I think I have one as me yodeling, maybe. I forget.
This is amazing. Jaeden pumped up. This is amazing.
Okay, so you go to Meta on your phone and you have to say generate, or you have to say me as, and then you could say whatever you want, and you just put a prompt in. What I will say though is it's going to say, so yeah, let me see. I think I have the whole full conversation. You say me as, and then it's going to say, I can't like do it until you give me like 3 photos or whatever. Then you have to go set it up. Oh yeah. So you got to add your photos. You set it up. It takes like 3 photos of you, and then you can do this. Now, my wife didn't want to do it because she didn't want Facebook to steal her identity forever, which I'm pretty sure if you have your photos uploaded to Facebook, it's already stolen, but don't tell her because, you know, she won't sleep as well at night knowing that. But anyways, yeah, no, I thought this was hilarious. No, I think this is a genius move. So Meta, obviously they have a bunch of like very useful tools that have come out, which are like, our models are better and we have like insane hardware. But I think some of these like really funny kind of tools where like generate yourself as anything that they know have gone viral because there's been other tools in the past that have done sort of similar things. I think it's a really smart move because they're just trying to grab some of that like free marketing, free publicity, free virality essentially from it. So I don't know. I think this is kind of fun for them to jump into like a little consumer product that is kind of funny to use.
I agree. And also what I love about Meta is that they're failing fast on stuff. I mean, the thing I admire about Zuckerberg and them almost more than anything is like they try something, they go all in, it doesn't work, they don't live and die with it, right? So like, I mean, so I think one of the things too is, what is that thing, Jaeden? There's something about like how Meta is now using the voice of, you know, they've licensed the voice of like Aquafina and just a bunch of people. Sorry, I'm totally blanking out, but they're like they've licensed the voice of celebrities and things like that because they tried that before with like Kylie Jenner and Tom Brady and all that kind of stuff, but realized people didn't want it, so they sunsetted that. 6 months after they did it, they spent tens of millions on that. I love Meta's approach. This fail fast, everything else. I love the fun approach. It has been phenomenal what Meta is doing, both in the big Llama versions and in, as Jaeden is saying, if you go to MetaAI or if you just like use the Meta product on your WhatsApp or your Instagram or your Facebook, you can just get into MetaAI. You can upload photos of yourself. You can see Jaeden as a Viking or something like that, whatever you want. Guys, and that's, again, without even the devices. Meta is having a moment right now. It is exciting.
Absolutely cool. Hey, if you enjoyed the episode today, if you learned something new, if you plan on generating yourself as a Viking, make sure to leave us a review. We'd love to hear it. We'd love to hear what your thoughts are on everything happening with Meta and their new devices, everything coming out. And make sure to tag Conor in any Viking images you generate of him on LinkedIn.
Do not tag me in your Viking images.
Make his day. Tag anyone that he consults with too. Some JP Morgan Chase, McKinsey, anything like that, right? Conor in his Viking era. All right. Thanks so much for tuning into the podcast. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.